everybody! Welcome to today's Make It video. I'm Warren, a maker educator from Kid Museum, and today we're going to be building and learning how to play a game called Mancala. Mancala is one of the oldest games to still be widely played, and it's believed to have originated in Ghana in West Africa. In particular, it's believed to have been invented by the Asante people, and the Asante version of the game, called Oware, is the most commonly played game to this day. But before we go into how to build it and how to play this game, there's a really important statement that I want to make. I'm not Asante. In fact, I'm very visibly white. As a result, I cannot make authoritative statements about this game. All I can do is share to you what I know about this game and what I believe I understand about this game. I'm like a news reporter. I'm not a primary source. And so as a result, if you want to look for the most definitive information about this game that you can, look to information by Ashanti people or Ghanaians or other people from other cultures who practice this game. And as long as we can have a foundation of respect for this game as an element of culture, and as long as we can promise not to parody or mock it, we can play this game and learn how to create it together. Here's how you play Mancala. The Mancala board looks like this, and it's divided into two halves. On your side of the board, you have 6 pits, and on my side of the board, I also have 6 pits. Each one of these pits has 4 stones inside of it. And you might have noticed that on the edges of the board are 2 very large pits, and these are called stores. Your store is on your right. My store is on my right. Your objective is to get as many stones as you can into your store, and to end the game with the most stones in your store, more than I have in my store. The game is played in turns. Let's say that you get the first turn. I'm going to make your move for you to demonstrate how this game works. Each turn, you pick one of the 6 pits that you control. Let's say that you pick this pit, to give an example. Once you've chosen a pit, you take all of the stones in that pit out of it, put them in your hand. And now, we're going to place these stones in nearby pits, one by one, moving counterclockwise around the board. And we're going to leave the pit that we just took all these stones out of empty. So here's how this will look. I've got 4 stones in my hand, because there were 4 in the pit. I'm going to put 1 stone here, 1 stone here, 1 stone here, and lastly, my final stone made it over to the store. When you put a stone in your store, if it was the last stone that you had to place, you immediately get to take a new turn. So let's say now that you've done that, you decide that you'd like to take all of the stones out of this pit. So that's 1. Haha, they don't want to come out. 1 second. There we go. 2, 3, 4, 5 stones. And once again, we're going to start to place them counterclockwise around the board. 1, 2. Yay, that's another 1 in your store, but you still have more in hand, so you're not going to take a new turn. Instead, we're going to keep depositing these stones. And now, in fact, as we move counterclockwise, you've come over to my pits. So these remaining stones are going to start going into my pits instead of yours. 3, 4, 5, like that. So now, it's my turn, because you didn't get a new turn. So let's say that I decide that I'd like to take these stones here, out of this pit. And distribute those. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Nothing special happens, my turn. Now it's your turn, and I'm going to show you something very interesting you can do. Let's say that you pick this pit here. This has 4 stones in it right now. 1, 2, 3, 4. And now, just like before, you place those stones counterclockwise around the board. 1, 2, here's what's interesting. 4. You just placed your last stone into what was an empty pit. When you do that, when you place your last stone into an empty pit on your side of the board, you immediately get to capture all of the pieces from your opponent's pit on the opposite side of the board. So immediately, all of these stones that I've collected over here on my side of the board, they move over into your pit. They're not in your store yet, so you don't have you haven't scored from them, but now you do have control of them and you can do with them what you please. And once again, the game ends when one of us no longer has the ability to move any of our stones, that is, when all of our pits are empty. And at that point, each player counts up the number of stones that they have in their stores, and whoever has the more stones wins. To make a Mancala board, all you need is a rigid piece of cardboard, or other rigid material. It's good to have it be at least a foot long by about 4 to 6 inches. And all we need to do is place circular pits on top of it. And one very easy way to make these circular pits, like this one for example, is we can take an old cereal box and we can cut a strip out of it, like this. And once we have a rectangular strip like this, we can very easily bend it into a circle. And now we can tape it that way, or glue it that way. And then we can tape or glue it onto our board. And once we've done that, with a total of 14 circles, we'll have made our Mancala board. There's one other thing I want to briefly share with you. Because Mancala is so old and has become a part of so many different cultures, there are many different ways of playing the game. I've shown you one very commonplace way, but there are others too, and some of these ways involve putting even more rows of pits onto the board. Some games even use as many as 4 different rows of pits. And if you want to look up how to play different forms of Mancala that use different numbers of rows, you absolutely can. That's everything for today. Thank you so much for joining me for this video, and I hope to see you in the next one. By the way, if you want to share a video or a picture of your Mancala board, or yourself playing with friends or family, you can upload it using the hashtag #MakeIt. And if you're interested in more cultural making, and are a rising 2nd through 4th grader, we have a summer camp just for you coming up next week. From June 22nd to 26th, Gavin and I are going to be teaching a camp called Making Around the World. We're going to be building together all sorts of creations from all sorts of different cultures, just like this one. And with that, thanks so much, and see you in the next one.